Here we go.
How we doing?
Yeah, not too bad. So, yeah, for everyone that's stuck around for those last couple of moments, of course, this is the Royals Insta Live special with myself and Mr. 39 plus one, this striker for Dunmow Town. So, I guess the first thing to discuss really is your path into football, taking you back some years now. But how did you get into playing football at a semi pro level?
Oh wow, yeah, he's going back a few years now. I think it's like any young lad. They all they want to do is play football. Um, and I was lucky enough to have some high quality players in my school team. I'm going to name drop now. Paul Konchesky, one of them. And seeing him go on to play for West Ham, obviously I went down a different path into business. But it was a local club, Barking Football Club, was one of my first clubs I joined. And I was a bit like a journeyman, to be honest, moving around club to club. One of the biggest clubs I played for was Dagenham and Redbridge. Had a few games there, and then got shipped out on loan. But then just stayed in the semi-pro scene, the Essex senior level. Played in Portsmouth for Horndean Football Club, and then realised when you get too old, you can't. You try to play at that level still with the youngsters, and you still feel like you want to do it. But then you have to realise, you've got to let the youngsters come through and take their opportunity. Hence, why I'm at Dunmow Town now, because there's huge plans there.
Now, of course, obviously, you said you're 39 years old plus the other year.
Nearly,
How
yeah.
how difficult has it been for you? Obviously, this season particularly, it's not a season like any other. There's been stoppages and starts. You've got to put your own work in away from training. Obviously, as an older man, so to speak, is that a lot harder to do, keeping yourself fit than you would have done when you was 21 years old?
Yeah, well, at pre-season at Dunmow Town, the quality of players that the old gaffer had, Maxi Ryan, was absolutely phenomenal. And they was like 20, 21, 22. I think one of the eldest players was about 28. So I had like 12 years on them. Um, how am I going to keep up with these guys? So it was very hard. You have to do double the work. You have to put in double the amount of effort, just to sort of be on the same level. I'm not the most gifted footballer, but what I make up from the desire, my attitude and application. Um, but yeah, as for an old guy coming in to a young team, you have to, the youngsters push you, they push you to the limit, which is great because being 39 plus one, I think my fitness is up there. And that's down to obviously playing with youngsters because they're so athletic and fit, and they keep on running and running. You have to be up there with them, so you have to put it in more, especially being in lockdown. You have to make sure you're doing your own thing, especially at my age, because if I'm not, then I'm taking one step forward and like three or four steps back.
And what we'll do, we'll touch on obviously how you keep yourself fit. The viewers may be able to see around my picture anyway, the league table. I don't know how much of it's cut out and how much of it's not. So obviously we currently sit in eighth in the Essex and Suffolk Border Division One. As you can see, we've played 7 games. We've got games in hand over, I think, everyone bar 2 teams. We've got at least one game in hand, and we sit in 15th. Whether the season will actually finish or not is a different story. But should it finish, are you happy with this position going into Christmas? Bear in mind the games in hand we've got.
Do you know what? The competitive part of me is no. We should be top of the league with the standard of players that we have in our squad. However, even the best teams lose. Um, but with the games in hand that we've got, to win those games, it will take us back up near the top. And I certainly believe once the season gets up and going again, promotion, we will be promoted. But there are some good teams in our league. There's some solid players. And obviously, our first league game of the season, we got found out. Um, you know, everyone thought we were just going to walk the league. Maybe that was a bit naive of us to think that, but we learned our lesson. And having those games in hand, you know, as they say, it is in our hands. We have to win those games, and I think we will. I think we'll come out of this lockdown as long as we keep on training and we're doing our own thing. We'll come back stronger and take those games in hand and win.
And just quickly, for the benefit of the viewers who would watch this back on YouTube and don't watch it live, so apologies to the ones that have watched this live. Fragile X Society is our partner charity. You may see that there's a live fundraising thing. So if you've got a couple of pounds to spare towards Fragile X, then please do so. See, that's running through our Insta Live now. If you're not too sure what Fragile X syndrome is, we did put a video out yesterday, and it's basically to deal with men and women who have got disabilities similar to autism. Sometimes it's dual diagnosis. I think the other thing we'll mention now, while we're mentioning the fundraising part, is obviously now you see on the screen. Talk, you may not see all of it, but the talking helps. You are not alone. So obviously this is a difficult time for all of us, especially in this tier 4. Something we're going to go into detail with yourself, Lee. But you have got the numbers of Mind there, Samaritans there, Young Minds. Take a screenshot if you don't feel comfortable talking to your friends about it, because especially with men, some men won't want to talk to their mates about it. They want to give the male bravado. Now, this is where I kind of want to go in with you, because especially at this time, it's critical. Your YouTube channel has a lot of mental health promotion. And obviously, as a 40-year-old geezer, as they would say, how important is it for men to open up about their mental health, even when they feel like they can't talk to the boys about it?
Uh, wow, yeah. So this subject is very close to my heart. Um, as a 17-year-old lad, I tried to end my own life. Lucky enough, it didn't work because I was frightened about speaking out, felt embarrassed. As you said, Jake, the male bravado, the pride, the alpha male inside us don't want to talk because we feel weak. But it's so important that we open up. It's the hardest part. The first step is the hardest part to opening up and admitting something's not right. And if you can't do that, then you can't take the next step in that process. And it's not an embarrassment because you open up because you feel depressed or you've got anxiety or you're suffering from an addiction. It happens. I felt that my mother, I couldn't speak to my mum. But when I opened up and started speaking to her, she said, you could always speak to me no matter what because I'm your mum. And that goes the same with my friends. You know, they're there for you and I'm there for them. So if the men, the young boys are listening, or even women are, listening as well, that you've got to open up, take that first step. It is the hardest step, but it'll be like a relief mechanism that it's all building up. As soon as you start speaking, the relief will come out, and then you can start talking a bit more about how you're feeling, how your thought processes are. But don't, please, especially in this current climate, do not hold it in, because there's a lot more going on in your head now. Obviously, with the lockdown and Corona, that it's going to play double on your mental health. So, if the numbers are up there that you want to speak to, reach out to them. Obviously, reach out to myself. Reach out to anyone. Anyone will listen. No one will just shut the door in front of you. You've got to be able to just take that first step. That's the most important thing. You have to think in your mind, take that first step. I did, and I still suffer. I think I'd always suffer, but I can control it now.
Yeah, I think obviously you're right in terms of you never fully get over it. Obviously, I was the same in 2018, but I'm not going to go into my story because people have heard it. And obviously, mine's outside of football. I just use football media as a medication almost.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I guess the big thing really is in terms of mental health and football combined is the dressing rooms. Now, I'm 25, so I'm not a footballer, but I've been in a few dressing rooms doing media, and I've not maybe seen some of it as what the older people have seen. But like the bullying or the banter, whatever you want to call it, if you do notice one of your players not reacting to the banter the same way, how do you approach them as an outsider? Do you have a chat saying, "Are you okay, mate? Like, is everything all right?" Or do you just leave it? How do you go about it? Because the football dressing room is such a wonderful place, but it can also be quite toxic at times too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially if you're competing in the same positions as well. Um, I think the football, biggest part of football is the changing room, the banter between people. And there could be too much banter if it's aimed at one person. It could have an adverse effect on their confidence, on their mental health. But just looking by their reaction, their facial reactions, if they're taking it on the chin, you can tell. Or if they're giving banter back, you know it's not affecting them. But I've certainly been in that position where the banter's just got too much. You got to act. If you can see it straight away, just have a tap on their shoulder and get them out of the changing room and just have a word in their ear, just to say, look, it is banter. You know, some people can take it too far. It's not personally aimed at you. It's definitely not personally aimed at you. It's just the banter talking. It's it's the bravado of people thinking they're better than you. Um, you just got to take it on the chin. But if it does get too much, just obviously sit down with them before the game, after the game, and have that word in them and say, look, it is not a personal attack. And if it is a personal attack, and they do actually mean it, people will banter into people, and it is a personal attack, then obviously you've got to speak to the gaffer to nip it in the bud straight away.
And without actually naming any names of teams or the teammates at the time, has there any ever been a occasion in the dressing room or out on the pitch where something was said to you where you almost thought, "Damn, I don't want to play football anymore," just from that one remark?
Um, not, I've learned to deal with things like that, so not really. At my age now, you brush it under the carpet where you think, don't let it affect you. Um, it's just a case of how you deal with it. If you miss an easy chance or you miss a pass and like you have a player that'll scream and shout at you saying, "Why the effing hell have you done that?" It's part of the parcel. It's frustration. So I've been lucky enough to every team I played in. Yeah, they do give you the encouragement, but every team they do give you the critique and the negativity. But it's just in the game. After the game, they'll come up to you and say, "Look, sorry for shouting at you, or sorry for, we're in it together," but it's just the frustration on that 90 minutes. So lucky enough at the moment, I haven't had that.
Well, now obviously we've touched on a few subjects, obviously about yourself. For the purpose of the people watching this at Royals TV after, which are going to be more interested in the Dunmow Town side of things, let's talk about Dunmow because this time last year they didn't exist. This time 6 months ago we didn't exist. I think it
Yeah,
was in about June or July. Actually, my maths might be a little bit off there. About June, July we started. Obviously, I've been there for 3 weeks
yeah,
3 weeks tomorrow, and kind of give the viewers a little bit of a feel about what's going on at Dunmow Town Football Club and what we're trying to build here.
yeah. So I got involved. I think we played one game friendly, Hayes and Yeading, and after that I got involved. I saw a gentleman called Simon Noakes, who's the chairman and founder of Dunmow Town, a tweet saying there's a new club coming to Dunmow Town. And I messaged him to say that I'm in between clubs. I'm a local lad. Can I get involved? But I am old. I put it out there straight away that I'm old. And he said yes. So I went over to the first game, my first game, pre-season friendly against Holbridge Sports, who play a couple of levels of steps above us. And it was a good game. The lads are a good bunch of lads, and I just bought into what they're trying to do. So what they're trying to do is have a football club, the first men's football club in Dunmow Town, to progress to higher levels. Their aspirations are, to get Dunmow Town to the conference, um, and that's massive. For someone my age, I keep picking out on my age, but someone at my age to be involved in a club that have got aspirations to reach that level and I can be involved in is fantastic. But not only that, not only the football side of things, the behind the scenes that goes on. We've got a committee now of 10, 11 people from all walks of life. We've got major sponsorship. You know, we've got this fantastic media channel now. You know, we didn't have it before, and it's given us sort of, you know, progression as a football club that are playing step 7 to have all this given to us for a club at our size is massive. And we're just trying. We play at Braintree Town Football Club as well. You know, a Conference South football club facility. You know, for me, it's massive. Like, I used to play on pitches like that when I was younger. I've not played on them for years. And to go there on a Saturday for a home game, it's the biggest buzz going. And then what the chairman's trying to do, you know, he works tirelessly behind the scenes, and the players that we're attracting, the players that we've got, and the facilities that we have, it's just a pleasure to be a part of.
Yeah, like you say, certainly a club that we're trying to build. See, I've come in and done the media stuff. Of course, that's brought some banter because of it shouldn't be happening in step 7. Am I really
Yeah.
needed? I think enough
You are
people.
needed. You are needed. I get it all the time. Should I be playing football still? You're shit, pardon my French. But, you know, if people want to call me shit, that's fine. As long as I put the performance in when I play, I don't care. You know, you're going to get it. I just think it's jealousy in some points. You are needed. You know, like I said, when you've come on board, you've opened the spectrum to our club. And not only our club, our charity as well. You know, it's not just about Dunmow Town Football Club. It's about the community, and that's what the chairman wants to do. He wants to bring the community into the club as well, and hence why we've got like the Fragile X Society as a charity and other things behind the scenes as well. So people that saying you're not needed or you don't need it at step 7, well, hopefully they watch this and they realise it's not just about Dunmow Town; it's about the whole community.
Yeah, I think it was us. I can't remember who I saw tweet it, but it was aimed at footballers. But I kind of took it into my mind frame as well for non-league media. Is you don't have to be a professional, i.e.,
No,
in the top leagues, to be
yeah,
professional. So that's kind of how we go in. We're obviously going to have better equipment. Obviously, we've done our first live stream, and yes, the picture wasn't great. It was done on an iPhone, but
yeah,
we're we're starting from scratch. We're not going to
yeah.
have Sky Sports equipment at step 7, and obviously that comes in at time. And obviously the chairman's been very supportive with that, so we will get more stuff in. Now let's kind of talk about the new management. Obviously, we've not had a game under him yet because the game got postponed.
Yeah.
But Alan Fenn and Kevin Wilkins coming in. Um, what's their vibe been like since they've obviously taken over? Because obviously big shoes to fill in the form of Brian Maxwell.
Yeah, well, Maxi Gaffer, you know, I learned so much off him. You know, even at my age, I learned so much, and I improved my game as well. Him and his management team of Che and Nicky Simmons, you know, were absolutely fantastic. So it was you know, a big void to fill. And then Fenny came in with Kev, with Wilco, and never played under Fenny before, but I know Fenny during the semi-pro scene, and he's a character as well. And you need a character as a manager in a change room, on the field, again behind the scenes, putting it all together. So yeah, the training, you know, before lockdown, we had training, one training session, I think. He's chatted to all the lads, and I think yeah, he can take us to the next level now. Obviously, we know Max is at Braintree as the manager there in the Conference South team. But we definitely think Fenny is the manager to take us forward, and Kev as the assistant manager. And you know, we have faith in our chairman making the right appointment. And to be honest, there was a load of managers that wanted this role because what we're trying to do and trying to achieve. And only time will tell. You know, the quicker we all follow lockdown rules, the quicker we'll be back on that pitch.
Yeah, that is true. Obviously, we hope we do play again soon. Who knows? See, unfortunately for us, because we fall in that step 7, as
Yeah,
silly as it sounds, we're playing at Braintree Town FC. We've got all this going on, but we're still have to follow exactly the same rules as the Dog and Duck that play on a Sunday at 10 a.m. down the local park.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we've alluded to this Mr. 39 plus 1 in the most respectful way possible. You're not you're not a teenager anymore. Your legs are going to give up soon in terms of football.
Yeah.
What have you done in order to progress and keep in football? Have you done any coaching badges? Would you like to be a first team coach at Dunmow under the managers, or is it you just want to play and that's it?
Um, yeah, like I've managed teams before. I've managed kids teams as well. But then you look when you see players playing, you're not playing, you're coaching. You get that appetite to be on that pitch as well. And hence why I said I wanted to get involved with Dunmow Town because I wanted to play. I want to play as long as I can until it's like, right, okay, your legs can't take it no more. Let's go into the management side of things. Um, so I'll give it a few more years because, even if I go into vets football, I'll still be one of the youngest. I can be the youngest again. But no, I'll give it a couple more years, a couple more seasons to play as far as I can. I still feel I've got 90 minutes every week to give. I run 15, 20K a week minimum. So I still think I've got a lot in the tank. But if the gaffer comes to me and says, "Look, time's come now," then I've got to respect the gaffer's decision. He's the manager, but then I'll give him a problem because I'll show him that I'm not ready to quit yet or give up.
And obviously, we said we was going to do this for about 20 minutes. It's been a little bit over. So what we'll do, we'll wrap it up now. But before we do, otherwise we'll be talking for hours and hours, I alluded to your YouTube channel, but you just want to talk more in depth about your YouTube channel and exactly what it is you cover and the message you want to get across from your videos.
Yeah, yeah. So my YouTube channel is regarding my own mental health, my journey, and sort of tips and techniques to how to handle anxiety and depression. Um, and it's just to give the message that if a simple person, Joe Public like myself, is suffering and can deal with it, so can you. I always use the analogy: we're like eggs. Men are like eggs. We are allowed to crack. We're allowed to cry. There's nothing wrong in that. And if you've got an issue and a problem, you can deal with it. So my videos talk about, World Suicide Day, Suicide Prevention Week, techniques around anxiety and depression. And it just gives people hope because they're seeing someone firsthand talking about how they're feeling and how they're going, how that person's going through their journey. So if I can talk about it, they can talk about it, and it can give them an outreach to obviously get in contact with me, just to, even just message me to put their feelings down, so they've got it off their chest. They don't need to, I don't need to reply back if they don't want me to, but it's just putting feelings down on paper, even on a text message. You don't have to send it to no one. Just put it down on paper because you release yourself. So my YouTube channel, obviously we'll put a link up if people want to have a look at it. But hopefully, if I can help one person, that's great. So please, if you are suffering, just talk about it.
Well, Fashion be late as always. The goalkeeping coach, Mr. No Show,
Is that
Dan
Mr.
Tolly has
Tolly?
joined. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, Dan, you're going to have to watch this back on the YouTube. But last thing to say is thanks to everyone who did watch live and gave us some time tonight. Thank you for everybody who will watch on YouTube. Of course, if you are feeling a bit down, please call the numbers that have been popping up on the screen. And if you can donate to Fragile X as well, that would be great. I'll leave their link in the description. Other than that, hopefully we don't have to keep these lives up throughout the next few months because we'll be back on the pitch. But until then, it's been myself, Jake Murphy, the head of media and marketing, Mr. 39+1, Lee Glynn, the striker. Thanks for watching. Take care and have a very Merry Christmas.
Cheers, Jake.
No worries. Thank you.